This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel Abraham, joined by Damon McDonald. Damon, how is everything?
We are fantastic. Everything's smooth as silk. I do have some strange news, but we have a lot of. It's supposed to be the strange news podcast, and it's not pro wrestling involved. No news there. No news, I guess, is good news. I guess. We do have a little bit of news. We don't even know I don't even know what we have. Joel's running the ship. But I guess everything's smooth. Well, how about on your end over there and over on the other side of the world? How are you making out?
We're doing good, Damon, and I mean that. I got some nice messages from the listeners, which I've appreciated. Count Out Pod sent a tweet saying, "It's not really a question. Hope everything works out, Joel. Your story the past couple of episodes have been heartbreaking, and we're rooting for you and your family," which is really sweet, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. I know there's a lot of weird things about these parasocial relationships you get with, podcasts and stuff, but I appreciate it. I do value the interactions like that. So that's made a difference to me the past few months, and I'm pleased to say things are finally looking up, because last week was a big week for me because I officially resigned from my job in China. I decided, there's no way I'm going to go back there without my family, given everything that's happened. So my contracts over there will be finishing up in end of July, so no intention of going back there. Just the way things are going over in that country, it just seems they're getting more and more hostile towards foreigners, and it's like COVID has become a watershed moment there, and it's sort of being used as an excuse to kind of pull up the drawbridge, if you will, and really tighten things up and be very, very strict about who's allowed in and out of the country, actually. So I don't see much of a future over there. Unlikely I'll be going back. But that also coincided with, I had 2 job interviews, not last week, the week before that, at a couple of schools here in Bangkok, and was waiting to hear back. I was expecting to hear back from them Friday. One of them was for a smaller school, but like a nice sort of family-oriented sort of community school. Really like the look of it. Nice area in Bangkok. People I spoke to on the interview, really nice and friendly. And that was a good position. So teaching and a little bit of leadership on the side as well. The other school I interviewed for was a big school, quite famous. They pay a bit more in the package, but the kind of school where you feel you might kind of get lost a bit. Lots of kids there, lots of teachers. So I had mixed feelings about that, but I was hoping to hear back by Friday. So Friday I was just leaving the hotel room to get a bit of fresh air. Mally and Esther were asleep, and as I closed the door, I got an email on my phone from the first school, the smaller school, offering me a job. And so I was there outside my hotel room, like silently sliding to my knees. It's like the final scene of Platoon, like ah. But I really wanted to go in and share the good news with Mally, but she was asleep. I didn't want to wake her up. I think you were probably one of the first people I texted, as usual. So that was a huge relief. And the other school emailed me a couple of hours later saying, "Oh, we haven't made a decision yet. We need more time to interview everyone. Hopefully, let you know by next week." But the first school said they wanted to get a response from me on Monday, which I thought was fair enough. So I was kind of in this awkward position where I wanted to wait and see what would happen with the second school, but I decided to be honest with them, Damon. I said to the second school, "Look, I've got an offer here from another school. They would like me to get back to them by Monday, and I've committed to giving them a decision by Monday. Is there any way you could, let me know as soon as possible?" Right. And so I thought, I lay my cards on the table there. And to their credit, they were also honest, and they said, "Okay, look, we can't give you a definite decision before then, but to be honest, there's other candidates with more experience." So this job was for teaching younger kids, like Key Stage 1 kids, so that would be a little bit below my experience range. So they said, "Look, there's people who've got more experience than you teaching the younger kids. We're leaning towards them. We'd like you to reapply in the future if position comes up that's better suited to you, blah 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 blah. But on this occasion, we recommend that you accept the first job, which I was really happy with. You know, taking that uncertainty off the table, like it would have been a bit. I don't know. I would have felt uneasy about accepting the first one and then getting an offer from the second one and being like, "Oh, I've already accepted the first one." You know, so I appreciate the honesty and the professionalism of everyone involved. It kind of is this a really boring anecdote? Probably more interesting than what's going on in New Japan. But anyway, I've started to finish. So I accepted the first job offer. So I will be gainfully employed here in Bangkok. Really nice job. Really excited about it. Nice people. Mali's looking for apartments here. And it's just going to be so nice to get out this hotel. You know, it's not been the worst thing in the world. It's quite a big room. We've got everything we need, but it's not the same when it's not something. It's not home. Right. Yeah. Right. So we're in the process now of getting all our stuff shipped over from China and just sort of closing up all the sort of loose ends, tying up all the loose ends over there. And just really pleased, feeling really grateful to pull this out at the last minute. It feels like I've sort of scored a last minute goal in a football match because these international schools, they start their recruitment in October and it's May now. So I was shitting it, Damon. You know, the last few months have been so stressful. I've barely been able to sleep, thinking, "Fuck, I've got 2 people to look after. I've got a second child on the way, so 3 dependents, no employment lined up. What the fuck am I going to do?" So it is just an enormous weight off my mind to be able to just start again and find a home, and really excited about starting a new life here in Bangkok. Even though I've been here for a year, it's good to be able to have the prospect of putting all the uncertainty and the stress and the worry of the last 12 months behind me.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride for you, man, hasn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was thrilled. That was fantastic news. The again, I know you were under a ton of stress, and I can't imagine just everything that is on there. But it's awesome. Like, see, you have that mindset that you can do that. Like that's not everyone can do what you do in the sense of being able to move to another country and move to another place and it's not like we had a lot of choice here in the sense of some decisions were made for you, but yeah, I'm so happy, man. I couldn't have been happier for you. It was I just like the fact that you have definitive answers and you've been there a year. You're comfortable. It's just a matter of putting a period at the end of the sentence. And just getting some closure off of it. So good for you, man. I'm happy. It's you got a lot going on, and to take that off your plate, I know that was a big deal. And here's the thing too. I think a lot of it. Again, if you believe in some stuff, I don't know what, but I do believe that if you do put stuff out there, and I don't even know what it is. If you could call it God, you could call it spirituality, you could call it forces of nature, you could call it Simon Le Bon. I don't know what the fuck, whatever you want to call it. But I do feel like
Kota Ibushi.
You could call Kota Ibushi, right? But when you vocalize things and you get it out there and people kind of feel your energy and give you good vibes, I somewhat believe in that, and that might just be naive, but I do. I kind of believe that there is something to that, and you putting it out there, and I know everybody was thinking about you, and even just for a second, I think that helps. So, good work by you. Excellent job. That's off the plate. Now, let's get me the fuck out of the place. No, yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot on our plate, so it's good to get some closure there, dude. Good work by you.
Anything you want to share with the listeners, Damon?
Well, I mean, I
don't want to put you on the spot. I mean, only as much
right.
as you're comfortable sharing, but I don't want that thing to be about me.
No. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to do the same thing. Like, I'm not the same thing under the same circumstances, but I'm out there. I'm trying to make myself actually what I'm really
trying to get yourself stuck in a hotel for a year. It's an experience. Man. It's good for you. It's character growth.
Yeah, we get to the Holiday Inn. with all the COVID stuff and everything and blah, 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 I don't know, I'm kind of under the thought process of you only live once. You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought all of this would have happened in a year and everything being shut down and just everything that everybody had to go through. So it had me reevaluating stuff, and I'm like, what do I want to do? And I really want to do my own agency. I want to do my own Google Ads agency because I feel like I'm really good at that. And I make companies money. So that's what I wanted to do. And I don't know if I'll ever be happy not doing that, like not doing my own thing. And I always feel like that's one thing that I've never done. So, yeah, I kind of have taken the steps to do that. And that's really my end goal in a lot of this year. So I started that and got an LLC and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So McDonald PPC soon, right around the corner, everyone. But in the meantime, I kind of wanted to see what else was out there, and I know I was a finalist for one job, but I didn't get it because I didn't have experience within that industry, and apparently another person did. And in my mind, I was kind of like, and it would be like in all facets of digital marketing. So, like, there were things that I don't necessarily like doing, and some of it would be involved in that, and so I was kind of like, not on the fence on it, but it was more like I just kind of wanted to get the yes, and I didn't get the yes, and it just anytime that happens and you get that far, it's like a house of cards. It's like you're building that house of cards, and you feel like, this is going to happen, and you just got to put that last card on top, and then it all fell over, and that's when we got to start again. But I got another place I'm talking to too, so which I'm actually more excited for. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm fine. I mean, but it's just like the end goal has always been to do my own thing, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's my news. Oh, and Cheryl got in a car accident.
Oh my God!
I mean, she's fine.
Okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. But yeah, the car is kind of fucked up, which sucks because she really liked the car. It wasn't her fault. Like the guy she was pulling out of a parking lot. She had the light, and guy just whacked her, plowed her. Not in a sexual way, Joel. The car was hit. But yeah, she's fine. She's fine. But that's just... But
so no Sabu involved here.
You son of a bitch. No, I mean, what it does is it just puts a rattle. It just gives you more stress. Because now you got to call insurance companies, and you got to wait for adjusters to come out and take pictures, and then you have one car now when you need two. So yeah, that's the shitty part. But I mean, honestly, I'm just glad she's okay. I mean, everything's smooth. But this is your week. Talk about your week. Everybody's like, oh my God, will you people shut up and talk about pro wrestling? Well, I wish we could.
Surely this is more interesting than what's going on in New Japan at the moment, which is basically nothing. I mean, where are we with our best of series? How many hours worth of content have we got left in the can for that?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, we got a lot. The first version we got back, we had all the clips in it, and we had a 5-hour show that we were about to upload. I was like, we can't do a 5-hour show, guys. So I just took a couple clips and put them on there.
Thank you to John Ensman for sourcing those for us. And we'll stick a few more on this episode, presumably. I don't think we're probably going for 5 hours today.
No. Yeah, I mean, I did see that we... well, I'm sure you'll lead with it, but I did see they are going to start shows once again. Am I reading that right?
That's right. Yeah, let's get into that then. So live events are returning in Japan on May the 22nd. So they didn't clarify in the news story whether or not there'd be fans in. I did have a look on the website. It does appear they're still selling tickets. So we got Saturday in Nagoya, Monday in Korakuen, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Korakuen. And so that those are Road to Wrestle Grand Slam, but I don't know if there's actually a Wrestle Grand Slam at the Tokyo Dome at the end of it. That I'm still unsure of. So we have Road to shows, but a road to nowhere, or road to somewhere uncertain. So people have got questions about this. Trish says, do you think if the Olympics doesn't go ahead, they will move the stadium shows into July, August? Spanhead says, when do you expect the 2 stadium shows to take place? Now, August, maybe, to replace Jingu's spot. So your thoughts, Damon, on the return of New Japan and what you think happens to these stadium shows? Oh, sorry, before you answer, let me throw another possibility. Ashutosh says, do you think they should just move the big matches from Grand Slam to Dominion, have a stack show top to bottom, would provide a fresh start, and then they can rebuild upon that to whenever the Grand Slam shows are? I don't even know what the status of Dominion is at the moment. I mean, maybe I've just failed to do my homework here, but there just seems to be a lot of uncertainty right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the honest-to-God truth. And I don't think a lot of people know. And I think it changes based off of government guidance and their regulations. I mean, we have these Corkin shows coming up. I mean, I don't know if they're guarantees at this point. Because, again, I think that the situation is very fluid. We don't know if there's fan involvement. I mean, again, tickets are on the site, but I don't know if they're limiting capacity. Who knows? I don't know if they're limiting on the limiting capacity. I'll tell you what. If the Olympics don't go on, I would find it very difficult to see when pro wrestling events would be okay, right? I mean, if they're not going to put on the Olympics where billions of dollars have been invested, and at least they'll get the TV rights and, be able to air it. I mean they're not going to have people in the stands and fans and all that stuff, but I mean, look, they have blinders on with these Olympics. They are pushing straight ahead, and if that gets canceled, I mean, I don't know where pro wrestling would fall. To be honest, I have no idea. I mean, summer would be this way. There would be plenty of buildings that would love to have them at that point, but I don't think anybody knows. I really don't. I think they have very loose plans, very fluid plans, because they have to. Because they're just setting themselves up for disappointment if they say, okay, we're running X on this date. Okay. COVID outbreak. No, we're not. So it's got to be a fluid situation.
Well, in the meantime, while we are waiting for that to play out, there is plenty to sink our teeth into stateside. And also in the UK, actually, because there's a little tweet popped up from RevPro saying that Shota Umino would be appearing on their shows this summer. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm a little bit unclear, because maybe he's going to be on Strong. We know he's going to be in RevPro. Are these going to be live? Are these going to be taped? We're not exactly sure what the timeline is on that. But I'm certainly excited to see him back in action. It's been a hell of a long time since I've last seen the Shota Umino match. So I'm looking forward to that. And it seems like a lot of people are pinning their hopes on him. He's the guy, save us, Shota, come back to New Japan and make everything better again.
Yeah. There's a lot of pro wrestling that's starting up here in the States. Ring of Honor's starting up. They'll have fans in buildings. I think it's safe to say that Strong will have some type of fan involvement in the very near future. I think AEW is touring. WWE is ramping up plans to tour again, get back out on the road. This is the place to be. You know what I mean? Like, this is the place to be. It feels like. And I think and then there are other independents that are already running. So, look, I think Strong will be. I think if you're not on the Strong bandwagon, you should be, because that's where you're going to get a lot of fun programming. Because if they can bring people in and out, that's going to make things even more entertaining. I I think do they tape 3 weeks in a row when they tape? I never really got a clear answer on that. Or maybe if I did, I don't remember. So if they're taping 3 weeks of shows, and again, I'm just throwing 3 out there as the magic number. I mean, that's plenty of flexibility to have him over in Rev Pro for a bit. Now that's just for shows, right? He's not doing an excursion there. Am I correct?
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe I should reach out to the Rev Pro people and see if they get back to us. But yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it could possibly what he's done in Rev Pro has already been taped, or it's going to be live. It's all up in the air. But at least we know we're going to see him somewhere. He will be on our TVs by the summer, whichever continent he happens to be in. Yeah, you'll see a lot of them. Let's put it that way, and that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. Nobody's complaining about that. But no, I do believe that this will be a spot until things get sorted out over in Japan. I think you'll see a lot more people taking the flight and just working some shots. Absolutely, I really do. Well, let's talk about one of those shots, which was Jon Moxley against Yuji Nagata for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship, which was defended on Dynamite. And I watched this. It's on New Japan World. And just my first takeaway was just it's great to see wrestling in front of noisy fans who are allowed to yell and shout, and that was just very, very refreshing to watch. Hopefully Japan can get there soon, but this was enjoyable at the very least. And everyone treated Yuji Nagata with a lot of respect. They really put him over as a big deal. And I enjoyed having Ren Narita accompanying him to the ring. It gave it kind of like a prize fight atmosphere, and then Mox coming out to Wild Thing. I can see in-ring, Nagata looks to have lost a lot of mobility. He looks significantly less mobile than I can remember, last year at least. But definitely brought the intensity here to compensate. And I always enjoy the vibe of a Mox match. There's a grittiness to it that I appreciate. Did feel like he was holding back on the strikes. I don't know if he was just trying to take it easy on his 53-year-old opponent or whatever. But it's a good match. I would have liked another 5 minutes because I thought it ended quite abruptly. But again, with this and the Kenta thing, if this is proof of concept of the relationship between the two companies, then I'd say it's a success. I want to see more of it. I thought AEW used Nagata well. People were really excited to see it. There was buzz online. These are the steps I think New Japan need to take if they are going to start to rehab their relationship with the casual Western fans. I'll tell you what. I think it's imperative that they continue this. And I think they have a partner that, and again, as you said, this is the way Kenta, the way Nagata was treated, the presentation. Like, I love the fact that they had him walking through the backstage area. Like, it just felt like one of the cooler things that you would see back in the day on tapes would be right before a match would start, and you would see the guys like Steve Williams or Hansen or Chono or whomever, and they're back behind the curtain, and the music hits, and then boom, now they're through the crowd. Like, that just it gave it an important feel, and I really did feel like it gave it an extra important feel. Imagine if you switched it on and it had like the Mox entrance, and then the camera just cut. Nagata's already in the ring. Just the little graphic comes up. Yuji Nagata. Right. They treated it like it was important, and that meant the world, right? That meant the world because they could have very easily just been like cut to a commercial, and then he's just standing in the ring. The match was okay. I mean, I thought the match was good. But to me, everything that surrounded it made it feel that much more special. I did see some people like throwing 4.5 stars at it. I was like, come on, guys. Come on. Wow. Behave. Wow. If that's 4.5, then tell me what Will and Shingo was. You know what I mean? Come on. Like, all right, come on.
But even with that said, there is something about Jon Moxley that I absolutely fucking dig. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that to a certain degree, to a large degree, he is an independent spirit in the sense of pro wrestling. Like, he's reminds me, and I hate to throw out the Terry Funk comparison, but in the sense of he wrestles where he wants, he goes to where he wants, he's able to keep it quiet for the most part too, right? Like he's not like he's like I feel like he's willing to talk to people. Like I see him on that Dark Side of the Ring stuff, and talking about Nick Gage, who is, from what I understand, lived two. Well, I knew he was from around my area because he did rob a bank in my area. He did go to prison, and it was in the newspapers. But yeah, he was on that. But I just like the fact that he, if he's going to show up at where Game Change Wrestling, or he shows up at fucking Rev Pro, I like that element of him just being a guy that would be, all right, yeah, I'm showing up here. You give me, you pay for my flight, pay for this. I'll show up, and it's kept quiet. That's what I like too. And again, he's going to wrestle on Dynamite against a New Japan dad, and then he's going to show up on Strong. I just like the idea of him being unpredictable. He leans into that. I like that. But anyway, the AEW stuff. Look, I think it's the New Japan people have to, and I think they are well aware that they could definitely benefit from a relationship with this company. At least for growing this brand once again and kind of getting them warmed up again in this country, in the U.S., in the West. Because it's going to be a struggle without it. I mean, they're not just going to be able to pop here and do and be at the level that they were, when you think the height was Madison Square Garden. Do you think that was like the
yes.
the apex?
Well, maybe arguably even before then. Maybe like the event where they had, was it the Golden Lovers against the Young Bucks? Because I think that was maybe when, or when they did those shows with like Kenny defending the IWGP title against Cody. They seemed really, really hot at that point. I do think that after the Elite left, they lost a little bit of buzz. I think had circumstances been different, I'm looking at things like the G1 show in Dallas, which I think was successful, but could have been better than that.
Yeah. I mean, it can only help. It can only help. And again, that the partnership, they're going to treat them. It's not going to be, WCW invading WWF and Vince jobbing out everybody and every other invasion angle that could have been. I don't think it'll be that. So, Dusty, the Crockett guys invading UWF or stuff like that. But no, it was good. It was good. Again, the match was good, but I like the idea of everything around it. That was even better.
Did you happen to see the Cody promo?
But I did. What was it? He was like, proud American or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw some people saying, like, making fun of him, saying, "Oh look, Cody's ended racism forever. Good job, Cody."
I didn't say it,
but he's got.
I think I read about it. Look,
he's a pro wrestling promoter. What would you expect? He's a carny.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so more questions then related to this match. Louis says, with seeing Ren Narita accompanying Nagata to the ring, do you think Ren might show up on AEW again, but this time in the ring?
I would say that's also on the table. Also a possibility. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we have no connection with AEW, right? So we wouldn't know. We're going to know as much as you, but I mean, I think anything's. when pro wrestling companies aren't making money, it's amazing how friendly and how many partnerships and how many relationships and all of that sprout. Right? I've said that a few times on this podcast. Whether it be Impact, whether it be AEW, whether it be New Japan, or Rev Pro, Ring of Honor, I think everybody's going to be working together for when I say working together, I mean, okay, Juice, and Finley, you work here for a little bit just until we can get you back, and Shota, you're over here for a little bit, and Renderita, you might come over here, and all of that. I think everything. I'm telling you flat out, I don't think that there is much not on the table. Minus like Kenny versus Ibushi. And I think that could very well be on the table, but they're waiting to get asses in seats for that. There's different tiered things that are on the table where, we'll do this now, but we got to wait for people to make some serious money with these matches. I think everything's on the table. I really do. And I think the idea of these walls being up and forbidden doors and all that, that is long gone. I really do think so.
Yes, it is not a forbidden door. So even referring it to the forbidden door is inaccurate. It's wide open.
Oh, you could fucking park a truck in it. It's not even, it's not even a thing anymore. It's not even a thing anymore. And I think we'll see more of that. More of the relationships and the more of the exchanging of talent. In the very near future. Not even like long-term plan. Like it's happening now. So, what lengths that will be, again, I think there are different tiers, and I think there are different levels to where they want to go and what they want to hold in their pocket until fans are allowed back in buildings.
Sean and Iman asks if Moxie has another title defense in Dynamite, who do you want him to face? So if you could maybe bring someone over from Japan or have someone already in the States to challenge for that US title, who would you like to see?
I'm trying to think of somebody that would complement his style. But then I'm thinking, would it be cooler to see someone not complement his style?
What about David Finlay?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm thinking, I got a name for you that I haven't seen in a couple months that might be itching. How about that Samoa Joe?
Okay, so it wouldn't necessarily have to be someone New Japan affiliated to challenge for that. I just want to see the title being defended, to be honest.
Yeah.
The more defenses he can get under his belt in high-profile spots, then that's helping to build the prestige of that title, which it needs, really. Especially given how many new titles are popping up all over the place in New Japan.
Right.
So the US title is one of the oldest, most prestigious singles titles in the company now.
It is. Who would have thought that night at Hammerstein Ballroom, it would be where it is now? But that's a thought, that's a name. Has anybody really talked about Samoa Joe at this point? Except he left. And everybody was like, "Oh, where's he going to sign?" Blah blah blah. That would be an interesting one, I would think, right? From a current New Japan roster guy. He's not doing anything right now. Would Shingo be a good name?
Yeah, the match would be really good. They've wrestled before, haven't they? I'm sure they've wrestled in the G1.
Did they?
But, yeah, weren't they in the same block in 2019?
If they did, I mean, it is early in the morning for me, Joel, but I don't know if they did.
I'm certain that they did.
Yeah?
Obviously,
Okay.
it didn't leave much of an impression on you.
Right.
I don't remember it being
really
a
didn't
particularly
stick with me.
memorable match for what it's worth.
But there's a name. How about Tanahashi?
I think they need it. I think they need him in Japan. I'm thinking of people who are already in the States. I mean, maybe. Even
all right. I mean, well, they can bring in
Connors
if
would
they can bring in. They bring in. They brought in Kenta. They brought in Yuji Nagata. Well, why not bring in Shingo?
I just think he's too valuable for the product they're putting out in Japan at the moment. They're sending over people who are either going to be in the States anyway, or guys who are not really doing much. I wouldn't be against it. I'll be okay with it, but I can't see it happening.
All right. I gave you 2. Give me 2.
David Finney and Clark Connors. There you go.
Clark Connors no longer a young lion. Did I see that right?
You did. We'll get on to that. Got a lot to say about young Clark. Let me throw another question at you. Mark says, I don't know if it would even be allowed, but could you see more Japanese talent coming over to AEW and or Strong and getting a COVID vaccine while here? All signs seem to suggest that the vaccine rollout in Japan is extremely slow, and I can't imagine wrestlers are close to the phases being allowed to get appointments soon. So, like I said on Twitter, that in Thailand at the moment, there are some companies who are offering vaccine vacations to the States. So you fly over there for like a week's holiday, you do some shopping, you get your COVID vaccine, and then fly back to Thailand. So maybe New Japan will be offering something similar to their roster. It's like, okay, yeah, you fly over, get your vaccine, work a Strong taping, have a match on Dynamite, maybe work Impact, and then back you go to Japan.
See, here's the thing. I wouldn't have zero problem with that period. As long as, everybody's, we have the supply, and it feels like we do.
Yeah, I think you're doing all right for supply. Seems fine. It seems like you got enough. Maybe even more than enough.
You know what? Everybody wants 3. What do you think of that? Well, everybody wants 3. Now we're a great country. Now it's, okay. All right, now we know what it is. All right.
USA.
Yeah, come on. Listen, we did something right. I'm proud of it.
All right, Cody. God.
Come on, I got to get my neck tattooed. Leave me alone. I'm trying to think, like, what did we have to do? We had to show... But that was a while ago. Like, we had to show...
I don't need to show anything now. They're fucking trying to bribe people with beer and shots.
I know, baseball tickets. I know.
You can't walk down the street with someone trying to fucking vaccinate you in the States.
I know. Trust me. I swear to you, this is a true story. I had to get a prescription refilled. And I went, and we have, like, you can drive through. So it's like almost like going to a fast food place. And you drive through, and you're like, you give your name and your insurance card, and they give you your prescription. You don't even have to leave the car. It's wonderful. And I'm there, they're like, hey, you get your second shot yet? And I was like, yeah. He goes, because we had like 2 or 3 extra for the day, and, we'd like to use them. Like, they were going to stick me right then and there. I was like, no, I'm good. I got it. I'll take a third one if you want. But yeah, we do have a surplus, that's for sure. But and here's the thing too, there are still people that, youngsters that, like, we have now where 12 to 14-year-olds can get it now. Here's the thing. Again, if anybody wants it, you can get it easily at this point. Easily. And the way I kind of see it is, we're at the point where these are people that aren't going to get it. Okay, for whatever reasons, they're not going to get it. Let's start shipping it out. Let's because here's the thing: it's only going to help everyone. Like if Australia is vaccinated, right? That's only going to help everyone. If Japan is vaccinated, it's only going to help anyone. India, it's only going to help everyone. Canada. So, notice how I didn't say Thailand. You notice that? You notice that, Joe? I didn't even mention it. Get Thailand in there. Everyone.
Probably going to be a while. They're as bad as Japan. I think what happened over here is when the infection levels are relatively low, they got really complacent. They were like, it's fine. Apparently, the US even offered a load of vaccines to Thailand, and Thailand were like, nah, we don't need that. We're fine. We've got it under control. And now it's all blown up in their face. So hopefully, lessons have been learned, and I'll get my vaccine soon. Although, obviously, I don't have the pressing need to do it with all that bullshit about get the Chinese-produced vaccine and you can come back to China. Fucking politicising it. But I would still like to have one. It would make me feel comfortable to get it.
Do you have anything that you want to get off your chest about China?
Oh, man. I thought about it. I'm like, should I absolutely bury them? Should I take it to the fucking woodshed on this episode? Because I doubt anyone from the CCP is listening, but if they are, I got a few choice words for you.
Oh.
Fuckers.
Oh no!
See, now that I'm no longer profiting from their economic system, I can condemn their human rights atrocities. And now I'm no longer there. I can say, fucking hell, their treatment of the Uyghur Muslims absolutely atrocious, Damon. You wouldn't hear me saying that while I'm gainfully employed over there, but now, awful. I cannot believe people go to that country and profit from these human rights atrocities, Damon. How can people do that? How can they sleep at night and live with themselves doing that?
I mean, not for nothing. I'm sure we have quite a laundry list over here. People in glass houses, as they say. Yeah, maybe we'll hold off on that episode, and just because I don't want anyone knocking on your door.
I'm not in the country anymore. They can't get me, Damon. As long as I'm not criticising the government and the royal family of the country that I'm in at the moment, then they can't get me, Damon. I'm untouchable.
You're touchable. All right. I've seen movies where they'll find you. All right. So that's.
And they're going to send like Batman over Christian Bale to extradite me and answer for my podcast crimes.
Yes. I'm sure there's high-ranking government officials in China listening to the Super J-Cast. Look, we have not a lot to talk about with pro wrestling, do we?
Okay, all right, back to the pro wrestling. Damon, there's plenty. We've talked about Moxley versus Nagata. We're 42 minutes into the show. Mr. Right. Cardin says, if AEW were to do another open challenge angle for the TNT title, who from New Japan would you like to come to AEW and challenge Miro for that title? So Miro, the artist formerly known as Rusev. Esther's back. Hello, darling. You want to challenge Miro for the title? I think he's a bit big for you, darling. He'd probably bust you up. I wouldn't fancy your chances. So would you like to see anyone from New Japan coming over to have a crack at that belt, the TNT title?
Not a single person. Is that that's the one, that's their TV title. No, that's Darby Allin. Yeah. What's the TNT title?
Yeah, that's right. I believe Miro beat Darby Allin for it.
Okay.
On the show that we're talking about.
Gotcha. Okay.
Notice how you go and tune into Everything Elite on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Yeah. Alrighty then.
Someone asked if we were going to do a crossover podcast to talk about Moxley versus Nagata. It's like, really, a crossover podcast to talk about a 10-minute match? Are you joking, mate? No.
Actually, that'd be great given our timestamps for most shows.
Oh yeah, maybe we could get a bit of a bump from them. They've got all their advertising money in there, so they've still got the My Bookie and all that shit. Okay,
are they doing well? Are they doing well?
Yeah, of course. They're talking about US wrestling. Yeah. Why do you think I'm leaning so hard on the strong stuff? I'm hoping that they come back to us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're probably in a good spot. All right, listen. Well, we were there once. We were hot once.
The glory days. Leave the memories alone.
I know. All right. Who do I want? I mean...
you don't care. That's fine. It's okay.
I honestly don't.
Another match I watched, I've seen these little matches popping up on World, so I thought, I'll check it out. I watched Carl Anderson versus David Finlay. I wasn't planning on watching that, but when an interesting looking 10-minute match pops up on World, I thought, why not? It's not likely to convert me into becoming an avid Impact fan. It's more like I just want to see what Finley's up to. But I do appreciate the way these promotions are working together. It seems like a healthy relationship with Impact. It's providing alternatives to the monolithic, monopolistic industry leader, which, that can only be a good thing. So I was watching this match, and then of course it ends with Kenny running in and causing the DQ. It reminded me why I don't like watching US wrestling in the first place. But I'm not going to bury them for it. It was a set-up match for sure. I save my energy for burying shitty New Japan booking. If it starts bleeding over into Impact, then the games are really. So I'm guessing you didn't watch this one, but sticking with Impact, did you see El Phantasmo against Josh Alexander for the X Division title? Because this was recommended to me by listener Frankie, said would recommend watching this ELP versus Alexander match from Impact. Absolutely the type of guy they should be bringing in for Best of Super Juniors, and the match here ruled. So did you manage to see this one, Damon?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, I did not. Did you see it?
I did. I did see it, and I, like Frankie, was really impressed by Josh Alexander. He's reminds me a bit of Kurt Angle. He's got like the wrestling headgear on, the singlet, and a very sort of mat grappling based style. So I like the look, I like the gimmick, and again, it just makes you wonder if he would be interested in flying over for some matches or a Best of the Super Juniors, because God knows that the New Japan Junior division needs some fresh faces in it right now. The match was really good. We know what ELP can do, but he definitely played his part here. It made Josh Alexander look good. Really good match. It made me want to see more of Josh Alexander. Certainly made me want to see him in New Japan. He looks good. He's got intensity. He's got wrestling chops. Good transitions. His moves look like they hurt. Like there was the climactic part of the match where it was like a power bomb into his knee. It looked really nasty, and then transitioned that into an ankle lock. So if New Japan can work out a deal, that's a no-brainer for me. So again, if anyone hasn't watched it, fire up New Japan World. Check it out. Josh Alexander, very, very impressive.
All right, so you're recommending people go out? Is it a go out of your way and watch, or?
Yes, I would say go out of your way and watch it. It's it's not particularly long. It's like the whole video file is about 20 minutes, and I guarantee you'll come away with it wanting to see Josh Alexander in New Japan. Whether or not that happens in the future, who knows? But again, I like to see these partnerships with AEW and Impact, so you get interesting little opportunities popping up like this.
All right, Esther. All right. We get it.
She's always trying to put herself over, this one.
Really?
All right, let's move on to New Japan Strong then. So we opened up with... so this is the Collision Tour. Started off with Rocky Romero defeating AJZ in 10 minutes 56 seconds via backslide. So we've got another 3-letter initial wrestler here. And eventually, I hope this is going to pay off. I want to see an AJZ versus TJP versus DKC versus ACH versus ELP letters on a pole match, where all those letters are suspended above the ring and the wrestlers have to climb up a ladder and retrieve 3 letters, and whatever letters they retrieve, that's what their new name's got to be. I don't know, maybe I need to workshop that a bit more. It doesn't seem that good when I said it out loud. It sounded better in my head than when I've actually vocalised it. But I thought this was good. I thought AJZ looks good. He kind of reminds me of a young Billy Gunn, actually. Very, very hateable gimmick, in a good way. And this guy's a kid. He's only 22 years old. He's from Ohio Valley Wrestling, so he gets the standard introductory singles match with Rocky. Rocky's the gatekeeper here on Strong. I thought AJZ showed some good stuff here. I like the pop-up punch. Very athletic. He showed a lot of passion. Selling was good. I liked him using anyone who's seen the movie Enter the Dragon, he used the roper counter to the armbar with biting Rocky's leg there. Finish was really interesting, really remarkable here, with Rocky stealing the win with a backside. You don't often see that with these new young guys coming in. Usually Rocky will go over pretty comprehensively, but they made AJZ look very strong here, and I think that's significant. I don't know if he's going to turn out to be a huge success, but anyway, it is good to see Strong doing some what I think is really good quality scouting, finding exciting talent in the American independent circuit, guys who haven't been hoovered up into the performance center yet, and perhaps AJZ should be gunning for a spot in the LA dojo to train with Shibata. I mean, I would be if I were a young American wrestler. I think the DKC, it could be the blueprint for that path for other wrestlers. And looking more long term, AJZ, he's the golden boy. Let's pair him up with Jordan Clearwater, get a strong tag division cooking. So what did you think of the match? What did you think of AJZ? I
liked AJZ. I thought the match was more than fine. I mean, it's hard to get super excited about, an opening match like this. But here's what I do like. I like the fact that people know that, okay, You're in the ring, singles match. It's Rocky Romero. And I don't know if it's people get out their critique notebook, but they kind of know that it's time I don't want to say if they've got the chops, right? You got to, you're treating it like it's a tryout, right? And I kind of like that. Only in the sense that, like, you're in your mind, you're kind of rooting for the person to do well, right? And if that's AJZ, if that's Fred Rosser, if that's fucking, whomever, right? You know that when they're in that spot, like, at least in my mind, like, I'm rooting for them to do well. And I thought they did well. Kept up. I think Rocky's fantastic. Rocky's been all over the place, it feels like. I feel like I've seen more Rocky in the past week than I have in months. But it was good. It was fine. Yeah, and it was surprising. A little backslide win. It was fine. What was that? Like, it's 8 minutes? It's good.
Our second match was Lio Rush and Fred Rosser defeating Hikuleo and El Phantasmo. So Lio Rush got the pin over El Phantasmo in 9 minutes 53 following the rush hour. And I just think it's kind of cool how we have a sort of Hontai New Japan army in Strong. And it kind of feels to me like Fred Rosser is the de facto leader for that. I don't know if you feel that way, but I sort of get really good dad energy from Fred Rosser. I really like him. He just seems like a nice dude. Anyway, so we've got a tag match here with relatively deep history as far as Strong goes between the participants. ELP and Lio Rush have had a few matches together in Super J Cup tournaments over the last couple of years. Rosser and Hikuleo also approaching their rubber match as well. So right. I think in Strong we sort of moved beyond the 4 random dudes paired together era, and we're starting to build some long-term stories here. Nice little appetizer for the Fred Rosser against Hikuleo no DQ match coming up. I really like both promos afterwards from Rosser and Lio Rush. I thought it put over the feuds well, made me excited to see the next chapter. One thing not so keen on is Alex Kozlov heel commentary. It's quite irritating. He's not a good commentator. If they can get someone else in, they should, because I think if they are going to try and make something of New Japan Strong, he would be a weak link, I think, at least.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them, we are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, clickgrainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Discount Tire has just made tire shopping easier. Their touchless experience allows you to buy tires and book your appointment online. Then when you drive in, you can stay safely inside your car as the tires are installed. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I think people at first were kind of like, not happy with it, and then it got to the point where it was bad, but it was almost comically bad, so people almost enjoyed it, if that's a thing. But yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to bury the guy, but I don't know if that's the best fit. And that's okay. Not everybody can cut it doing that. It's not the easiest thing to do, but yeah, it's a little. But you're right. I do like the fact that there is underlying backstories in this. Hikuleo, Rosser, El Phantasmo, Lio Rush, and the fact that you mentioned the backstage promos too, where who was it? Who was first?
Fred
Rosser.
First.
Yeah, talking about the feud there. Mentioned like this family and stuff, and then you had the Lio Rush one where he gets a little revenge for the losses that he had. So yeah, it's good. I mean, I like this show a lot because, again, and it doesn't feel like we add a lot of insight into the matches themselves just because they're short. But I like that. I feel like they speak for themselves. I mean, what more can we say about them? I think they're presented well, but it's quick. It's fine.
And our main event was a special elimination match with the Team Filthy team of Danny Limelight, JR Kratos, Chris Dickinson, Tom Lawler, defeating the team of Clark Connors, TJP, Brody King, and Carl Frederick. So it finished in 18 minutes 36 seconds with Chris Dickinson throwing Clark Connors over the top rope. I think that's what it says here on the website anyway. So I really like this one. So first of all, the most notable thing, I guess, is the fact that Clark Connors has graduated. He's got his new gear. He is the Wild Rhino. And I just thought this was a really fun match, really well booked main event, gave everyone a bit of shine, set up some future programs. So for example, there's a bit of disharmony between Clark and TJP. You know, they faced each other in the New Japan Cup USA, so maybe they're going to resume their feud. We had Carl Fredericks managing to eliminate Tom Lawler, so maybe Carl has got a claim to a future title shot for that the strong openweight title. And I really like the closing sequence between Clark and Dickinson. That was particularly good. You know, arguably the two of the best wrestlers in that match. We finished with Team Filthy betraying Chris Dickinson, which was a shame. You know, I was kind of hoping they do something refreshing and have them manage to keep it together until they had their title match. But it's to be expected. You know, I know this is New Japan, but it's still US wrestling at the end of the day. And also we got a little shout out to the Violence Unlimited, the ROH stable at the end, where Brody King and Chris Dickinson were there for each other and shook hands. But I thought it was a really fun main event, Damon.
I like the main event a lot. Team Filthy, I like a lot. I'm really liking it a lot. I wish they would have stretched this out a little bit more, and not have the turn so quick. I mean, look, I understand that it does add a little bit more heat to the title match, and it's been done, you know, plenty of times in the U.S. Brody King. Yeah. I like this show, man. I really do. I thought it was strong. Pardon the pun. I thought it was a strong show. And here's the thing, too. I remember back, I always used to say, you know, they could just get a little bit more story-based and a little bit more of a hook, right, to keep you watching week to week. And I think they're getting that element. I think that's absolute. I think this was probably the episode that had more of that than anyone I remember. That they're clicking on all cylinders, man. I'm not lying. They are clicking on all cylinders. I can't believe anyone at this point is not in on this. Like, I just feel like you're missing out. You got to get on the Strong band. I mean, Joel was first. I mean, there's no doubt. And I've gradually kind of, okay, all right, I got to catch. And I got to be honest with you. Joel still has to remind me sometimes that, don't forget Strong. I forgot to catch it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, every time I turn it off, I'm not disappointed that I watched it. I'm not. I think it's seriously, I say this without any hint of sarcasm or any hint of, I think it's the best U.S. pro wrestling show. I really do. I mean, for the money, I think it's the best pro wrestling TV show on right now.
I agree with you. I've said the same thing many weeks ago. It's not me throwing shade at Dynamite. I can see Dynamite is a really popular show. I can see why loads of people really like it. But for my particular taste, I like the simplicity of Strong. It is elegant in its simplicity. It's really, it's a short show. I'm just repeating myself. I say the same things about Strong every week. They still apply. It's really good. And if you like wrestling, you should be watching Strong. I mean, in terms of getting you hooked for next week we've got singles match. We've got Alex Coughlin versus Bateman, which should be really interesting. I'll be interested to see who picks up the win there. We've got Brody King and Carl Fredericks against Danny Limelight and JR Kratos. And then our main event is a no DQ match between Fred Rosser and Hikuleo. And if you'd have told me even 12 months ago that I'd be really looking forward to a Fred Rosser versus Hikuleo match, then right, I would have called you a liar. But I'm well into this, Damon.
Let me give you this. We are now moving in on June. Do you think Fred Rosser gets most improved votes for year-end awards?
I think he deserves it.
I think too.
Because when he first arrived in Strong, I said on this show, I was like, he's still working like what looks like a WWE house style to me. I'm not, it's a bit cheesy. I'm not a fan, but I'm eating my words here because I think he's really improved. He's really stepped up. He's laying in his strikes. He's throwing his weight around. He is wrestling like a big, muscular, strong dude like him should be wrestling. He's playing to his strengths, and the character's coming across well. You know, this is a guy who works hard. He's honest. He fights the right way. But if you piss him off, he's gonna fuck you up. And I really like that.
I think he does. I think there's going to be a lot of Strong votes. Like, I think Strong as just in general, like the way it's booked and the way that the show is delivered and packaged, and all the wrestlers, like, I bet you Strong gets like what category is it, like not most improved, but like I don't know, highlight, or I don't know what we have. I know we have biggest disappointment, but you know, Strong has, like, in a year where we've had good New Japan stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, main roster stuff. We've had good stuff. But, you know, we've had our struggles too. I think Strong is one of the highlights that New Japan has right now. And I think year end, I mean, if they continue on this path, if they continue this momentum, I think there's going to be a lot of, like, they might not get, like, first place votes. They might not even get second place votes. But you're going to see shit like, you know, Tom Lawler get votes. You'll see Chris Dickinson get votes for stuff. You'll see Clark Connors gets votes for stuff. You'll and again, Fred Rosser, you'll see get votes for stuff. I think they'll be in the mix. I mean, they're not going to walk away with awards, but I think people are starting to recognize. And I think if you're listening to this podcast, you have to start to recognize that show as a show that you watch every week. Have to.
Totally agree. And I'll tell you, if they get permission to start getting fans in there, then I'm going to be a very, very happy boy. So that is Strong covered. So we do some questions then, Damon?
Yeah, we can do a couple questions, sure.
Discord, Vase Collector says, what's the over-under date on Miho Abe and Taichi reuniting? Only then will I feel like things are back to normal. So do you think that's going to happen in the future, or are you not really bothered?
I mean, I think it will happen. I think she's important to the gimmick. I guess, you know, they're just trying to cut people that have to be in the arena, right? Yeah, I think definitely they'll be back together. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, I feel Zach is kind of playing a similar role at the moment, but I would never say no to getting Miho back. I'm a fan. I think it enhances Taichi's gimmick, so hopefully we get to see her soon. Bash says, what do you think of the new Apple Podcast subscription service that's announced today? Will you be joining or sticking with Red Circle donations? Look, I know nothing about it, so if someone can tweet me or message me and explain what it is and can I make money from it, then I'm all ears. I don't know. Do you know anything about the Apple Podcast subscription? No? Well, let us know. We're always open to new things like that. Although I think Red Circle's been good for us so far. People have been quite generous with that. It's always good to see the money coming in every month and people digging into their pockets and supporting us. So thank you for all the people who've done that. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Dylan says, if there was an ESL or Pro Wrestling Noah type split of talent from NJPW, who would you take from New Japan to build a new company around? So, I don't know, let's say maybe one person, or you could do more than one if you want. Who would you be taking to build your promotion around? Who'd be your ace?
I would take Okada.
Broken down old man Okada.
Listen, all he needs is a little rehab, take some time off, rest his bumps and bruises. He's what, 30, if that. He's still one of the greatest of all time. Is Okada one of the greatest of all time?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'm taking Okada.
I am taking, as the star of my company, building the whole promotion around Great Okan. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. That's a gutsy move. So, in 4 months, when you're running your last show, Wait, you have that entire roster. You're really going to take the Great Okan?
Yeah, it's going to be a sort of 80s style Saturday morning ITV World of Sport promotion.
Wow. Look at you. That's gutsy. Who's your second pick?
Dick Togo. No.
Oh, fantastic.
No,
I can't
if
wait.
I can take from abroad as well,
Yeah.
I would take Clark Connors.
Wow. Oh, look at you.
That is going to be my flagship feud in my sold
Great
out
Okan,
Tokyo Dome.
Clark Connors.
Okan against Clark Connors.
Wow. I mean, okay. I'm
trying to think outside the box here. You know, I could give boring picks, but I like it. I'm standing by my idea.
Okay. I will take as my second pick Hiromu Takahashi.
All right, so we're doing. Is that you going for that to be your big money feud as well? Okada against Hiromu?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be it, but I got plans. I'm calling my promotion the Hospital Ward. We don't run shows. We just watch people get like massages and wrapped up in that athletic tape.
Yeah. Okada doing a fishing program. Hiromu doing lots of chat shows where he's doing wacky things like putting on makeup, doing his artwork, painting channel.
Yep. This sounds wonderful.
Okay. Bash says, do you think New Japan keep up this format of multiple shows when the pandemic is over, or do they go back to the old format of one big long show instead of spreading things out? So would you rather have big shows going 5 hours long like they used to with these solid undercards, or the pick and choose matches you want to watch in the COVID era that we're in now?
They're going to get as many shows as they can in as many buildings that are willing to pay them to make up for lost funds. So I don't see the 5 hours. Here's the thing. They are probably told they got to keep shows under a certain time frame. Like the buildings are like, you can't run a fucking 5 hour show. We can't do that in this day and age. We got to do a 2 hour. Because again, it's not just the wrestlers. It's the production crew. It's the vendors. It's the people who clean the arena. They want people in and get the fuck out. So they're going to do as many shows as they possibly can. So I think we'll see what we have right now for the foreseeable future.
Gary says, is Tangaloa ready to be the breakout star from GOD? He's looking amazing on the road to He said, if so, does he need to leave Bullet Club for it to happen? Where's his ceiling? We talked about Tangaloa before. Give me a ceiling on Tangaloa, please.
You saw it. that I don't think he's a no. I don't. Come on. Do you really want to give me a title that you would put on him? A singles title that you're going to put on him?
No, exactly. I refuse. He's not getting one, not yet anyway. But I can't see it. I think maybe
on that roster. On that roster, you're going to give him the title.
No.
A title. No, you're not doing that.
Okay, Steel O'Neill says, who in New Japan should get a rebrand to look/act like Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village, who we talked about last week. Their height could be magically changed to 10 feet. Sorry to recycle an answer. I would have Great Okan as 10 feet, but I'd also have Great Okan. I'd have Lady Anime Great Okan. the busty anime Lady Great Okan, 10 foot tall, just chasing people around the arenas, picking them up and terrorizing them. Maybe that could be the gimmick for my new promotion.
Clark Connors, we got a gimmick for you. He's like, oh, shit. Do I have to answer that? I would give it.
You don't have to.
All right, I'll say Hikuleo because he's got the height already.
MMA Army says, if you could pick one of the older, currently contracted post-40 club back to their prime in current day New Japan, who would it be? So Nagata, Tenzan, Kojima, etc. Removing Tanahashi from this is he's probably most people's choice. So if you could bring one of the dads into their prime, who would you do?
Kojima was awesome. Triple Crown winner. A lot of those matches are really good. He might be my pick. Yeah, I would go that route.
I go Nagata. I was always a huge fan of his. I really enjoyed that. Just the whole Inokiism thing just worked out really badly for Yuji Nagata. I think had that not been a thing, then he could have been a huge, or definitely a much bigger star in pro wrestling than he turned out to be.
Okay, but let's do this. Let's play the devil's advocate on that. Inoki rolls the dice, throws him in that fucking fire pit, and let's say he survives. And not only survives, let's say by the flukiest of fluky flukes, he wins, right? And then maybe they do it again, and he wins again. He becomes the biggest star in fucking pro wrestling. He becomes Sakuraba. You know what I mean?
Sorry, just so I'm clear, you're saying if Yuji Nagata managed to beat Mirko Krokop and Fedor Emelianenko, two of the greatest MMA heavyweights of all time, if he managed to beat them, it could have been a very different story. Yeah, I agree. If it turned out that Yuji Nagata was actually one of the greatest fighters on the planet, then yes, but he wasn't, and it didn't.
But again, they rolled the dice. The odds were absolutely stacked against them, Joel. But all I'm saying is if one punch landed. Hey, listen, Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson. All right?
I don't know how this is not a referendum on Inokiism. I'm not, that's another discussion. I don't think it was all bad. I like Bob Sapp. I thought he was a decent wrestler back in the day. We've still got our old watch along notes from that. Well, I have anyway. We never talked about, so I'll save them. My hot takes about Bob Sapp for another day. But the question was, who would you bring back to their prime? My answer would be Yuji Nagata because I think he's brilliant, and I love him.
I love him too.
Aditya says Damon's throwaway line last week about Liger returning makes me think, why not let Liger help the booking? Wasn't he used to book the junior heavies? Was Liger's time as a booker ended badly? Is he not currently involved in the booking? I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's a voice in there.
He might. I'm sure he's a voice in there. But I don't know if he's at every show, and I don't know if, he seems to be, I see him everywhere else but at wrestling shows, it feels like. Look, he did, to answer the question, and yes, he could. And I don't think they would hand wave him and be like, okay, we got it all under control, thanks. But here's the thing, I don't know how much input he would have at this point. He seems very content. He really does. I mean, every time I see him, he looks happier than he ever has. He looks like a guy. He looks like a guy who, there's a big difference between a guy who retires and doesn't really retire, like they have to work because they don't really have the money. But if you have the money and you retire, life is great. I can't think of anything. He enjoys his fishing and painting his Godzillas. Does he really want to get involved in fucking New Japan? Show up doing commentating. Oh, he's living the life.
Let me jump into our next question then. Cola Blue says there's a great Ibushi interview on the website about the 99% negative reaction about the unification, and also has a great bit about Ibushi's personal dojo being his quote-unquote mind palace. So the question is, what's your mind palace? I'm not exactly sure what a mind palace is, but I sometimes like to imagine myself walking around the Spencer Mansion from the Resident Evil remake, without all the monsters and zombies in there. But I just like the architecture. I like that house. I like the mansion. So I sort of imagine I'm walking around there because I've played it so many fucking times. I know it off by heart. So there's my answer. Do you have a mind palace, Damon?
Well, I will say this: that in my house there are two rooms that I think I get most of my decompression. You know what I mean? Like, there are rooms that just have a certain feel, I guess, that I prefer. One is our bedroom. And we say it all the time. It's just like literally you're taken away from the world. And truth be told, second is my bar. We just sit out there, and it's just I don't know. It's just like a good place. And so, yeah, I definitely can subscribe to that theory, but I would say bedroom, bar.
Alfredo says, what would be the best way to separate the current world title back to the heavy world and intercontinental straps? Who does it? I thought we were past this. That was the one saving grace of them doing this stupid fucking unification, is that we stopped getting questions every month about how they're going to separate the belts. It's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think we're going to see the IC title again, personally.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, this is it. This is it. All right, now that you've had some time to digest it, what do you think of the title? The actual belt itself.
It's okay. I mean, it's not a terrible looking title. I just think the problem is that it's replacing one that I thought was sort of aesthetically perfect. So, yeah, it's fine.
Still don't like it. I really don't. I don't know. I will say this though. Somebody had mentioned it too. It feels like it fits Will perfectly. like you know what I mean? Like around his waist. Like it feels like it was custom made for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Even the little wings on it as well. They
honestly,
just seem to suit
I really don't like the look of it. But well, it is what it is.
Jake says, San changing the booker or pairing up with Western promotions. What is the best option for rejuvenating a flagging New Japan product? Well, I've already gone into that, Jake, in this show. 10-foot tall lady Great O'Khan with big boobs.
That's it. Away we go.
No, I don't, because I would have said, I think pairing up with AEW and Impact is taking good steps towards that, but the parameters of the question says that's not allowed. So what do you think, David? What could New Japan do to inject a bit of life and excitement back into the product?
I think they're doing a good job. Look, if one of our biggest complaints were shows being shows with matches that were and then a main event that were okay and not great, and now you have a guy that is your world champion that can produce great matches, and leave you satisfied. That helps. Trust me, that helps. The biggest problem is this: start, stop, empty arena, half full arena, programs being scratched, just a lack of overall direction, just because it's hard to have any momentum or direction with the way that things are going on over there. It's tough. I will say that if G1 could definitely do that. I feel like everybody's on board when it comes to G1. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of gets back on the ship because they know they're going to see some great stuff overall. Again, there are times though, but I hate to say it, they got to really do a great job. And I don't know if we're in that super G1 era anymore, right? We're in that opening night great, a handful of matches in the middle great, and then finals great kind of mode. And I hope that they find a way to get out of that, because they really need – that could be a great tool to respark energy and chatter and that. So I think they really need a solid G1 to get people back on board.
Dr. Gary says, at what point do we see the transition of Tanahashi to full-blown dad status? Do you see any other titles in his future? I still think he's way too valuable to... I don't know if I could ever see him just becoming sort of random dad in a 8-man undercard tag match. I always think there's enough cachet with him to be doing something interesting.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. I think it's his decision. I don't think anybody's going to come to him and be like, you're dad now. Like, I just think he's got too much stroke. That being said, he's not the same guy he was 5 years ago. He is, just a laundry list of injuries. But of anybody who can piece together a pro wrestling match and make it great, and quite honestly, get up for a big spot, it's him. You know what I mean? Like I always say, Tokyo Dome, don't count Tanahashi out, and he delivers. So no, I think that's. I don't think that necessarily ever happens, in the sense that we see it now. I think it will always somewhat be in a mix. I really do.
Sizzlebeef says, earlier this year you guys said Okada would win either New Japan Cup or G1 and Ospreay would win the other. What's your guys' stance on this now? How does Shingo, Ibushi, Naito, etc. fit into this picture? Oh, am I still going to back Okada for the G1? I don't know now, because I could actually... I think he was a favourite to beat Will Ospreay and win that title, so I'm not sure about Okada winning G1 now.
I think he does. I think he does. I think that's where we're going. I think Okada wins G1, and Wrestle Kingdom is Will and Okada. Because again, we don't know what the status is of these other. I mean, they might just scrap them. I mean, let's put it this way: how do they go back on it? Like, how do they? I don't like. There's so many I don't knows. Like literally, they could just say, "Okay, we're not going to run these shows." And can I be honest with you? Would anyone be upset with that if they just said, "Okay, we were going to do it, and we're not going to do it now. We're moving forward in the calendar year, and we're focused on G1." Would anybody have a problem with that?
No, I think that would be the best thing to do, personally.
Right? Why shoehorn it in? Why try to fit 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag? Let's just, I think that might be the best way to go.
All right, let's stop there because my dinner's just arrived. I'm hungry. Thank you, everyone. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast if you want to throw some money our way. Discord link is that you knocking?
No, I'm not here.
I was talking to Mally. I heard knocking. I was worried someone was at the door. Discord link is in the show notes at Cobra Kawaii and prowrestlingtees.com/superjcast if you want to get one of our t-shirts. Big thank you to editor Dan. Find him on Twitter at LousyHero219. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. Give us a 5-snake review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at SuperJcast. Thank you everyone for listening, and now stick around and enjoy some more of the very best of the Super J-Cast brought to you by John Entman. So I hand over to editor Dan, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, firstly, an apology. I did end up putting every single one of the clips on the last episode, and then found out when I woke up the next day that I might have gone a little bit overboard and I was only meant to use a few. So apologies for that. So coming up now is some of the clips that we had to take out from the last week. It won't be 5 hours long, I promise. Yeah, sorry about that. Enjoy, guys, and speak to you soon. Peace.
And it's a magical time of the year, and it's a little different. Going to be a little bit different, but in many ways, in many regards, Joel's is going to be the same. And it's, for me, one of the best times of the year. Every night you turn on that TV, you know you're going to get something good. And I'm not excited about much. I'm excited about this, for sure. So okay, whatever time that might wind up being East Coast, the minute I wake up, TV pop on, and then I'll watch those matches to remain spoiler free, because I have people in my life that, okay, of course I'm not on Twitter, but they'll text me.
Is Cheryl going to run in the room and be like, "Oh my god, did you see Ishii just getting the big upset there?"
Right? Would it be my cat will instantly speak English? Hey, Okada got a big win there, didn't he? Oh, fuck yourself, Peanut. That's as the kids like to say. That's my jam. Stranger things have happened in the fucking world of pro-graps, as the kids hate saying, and I do too. I know. Jericho doesn't. This is his band.
Fuck, does he? He can do whatever he wants.
No masks for Jericho Cruise. Didn't he perform at like that Sturgis rally, that motorcycle rally thing?
Yep.
Yeah, that's turned into a nice little idea, didn't it? Nice little super spreader
idea.
Yeah, it didn't
go very well, did it?
A couple people were sick, and hey, look, everybody's gonna be all right. It's just a flu, dude. Just a flu. Everybody's gonna be all right. What? How many people got it? Oh, okay. How many? Okay. From that one event. Oh, gotta hear some Fozzy though. Got to hear some Fozzy. What? You sick? Okay. Ventilate? What? Okay. Got to hear some Fozzy. Yeah. Fucking world stinks.
I've got this mental image of Ospreay and Jay White laying out the match beforehand, and Jay White suggesting stuff, and Ospreay being like, "No, I've got a better idea. How about I do a top rope drop kick and a pip pip cheerio and a springboard Oz cutter?" And Jay White just sighing and being like, giving up and being, "Okay, Will, whatever, we'll do it your way." Like, you know when you're in primary school and there was always that one really annoying hyperactive kid who you play with and they keep changing the rules so they can look cool and win. That's what this felt like. Ospreay, he looked like a hyperactive kid who was living out some kind of power fantasy, and Jay White, it looked like he'd given up and phoned it in. And then add to that the backstage promo afterwards of Ospreay channeling the spirit of Kenny Omega. I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's uncanny. He sounds exactly like him. He declares himself the Billy Goat, making one of the most horrific sounds I've ever had the misfortune of hearing. Like, the man looks genuinely unhinged. He looks like he's been sitting at home for months, getting shit on by everyone on social media, rightly so, finally making it back to Japan, getting back in the ring to do what he loves, and genuinely believing that he's the best wrestler in the world who can do whatever the fuck he wants. And maybe I'm being worked, maybe this is his plan, maybe it's a heel turn, but honestly, it ruined that match for me, and it's making me pray that Ibushi knees his face in next week. So, wow. There you go. There's my rant over. I think it's all been very intentionally done by Okada, and to use a disgusting sexual analogy for it, it's like, you know, he's edging, and you know, you're getting there, you're ready for the big bit at the end, and then he's leaving you with blue balls or ruined orgasm or whatever disgusting metaphor you want to use there. But it all feels very intentional, but I can't give it the double thumbs up until I've seen what the payoff is.
There's not a podcast on God's green earth that's going to compare Okada matches to Edge. I love it.
That's what it felt like in that Shingo match. Like he's got our dick in his hands and he's doing all his little tricks. You're like, oh yes, come on, Kazuchika, give me release, and then you get a sad little dribbly ruined orgasm at the end when he slaps on the money clip. And you're like, oh, you're so close to it being perfect, and you ruined it.
Oh yes.
I know it's vile, but am I out to lunch?
It's pretty hot, Joel.
Analogy.
I got a boner. I'm not gonna lie.
Upbeat.
All right.
Sticks to some good news. Did you see the Ricky Choshu TikTok videos?
Yes. I wonder if I could replicate that. That was the first thing I said in my mind. I was like,
that's what a promotional video for your penalty box, for the penalty box bar, with you doing those Ricky Choshu TikToks. I want the, like, you know, the where there's like little clones of him in the background, or the one of him showering. That's what I want.
I'll do the dance. I'll do the dance one. Where he's like, left arm, right arm, up, up. I could do that. I think I could do that. I'm not very coordinated when it comes to the dancing. I did see that. Why is he on there? What is he doing? What is he up to?
He's probably incredibly bored. Me and Mally went through a TikTok phase as well when there was the lockdown in Thailand, so I'm not going to judge him. But then I realised after about a week, I was like, well, I tell you what happened was, I was sort of playing around with it for a while, you know, uploading some funny videos, me and Esther and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the algorithm got me, because every time I open it up, there'd be just, my feed would just be populated by exclusively of videos of like sexy Asian women doing like sexy dances. So then I was like, okay, it knows me too well now. I've got to delete this app before I get in trouble.
I know!
And I don't know how it happened. I have no idea how it happened. I didn't subscribe to any of this. It's just like, we know you, Joel. This is what you like. This is what you like looking at. So here you are. And I was like, fuck it.
Joel,
get out of my head, TikTok.
I swear I'm the same way. This happened to me. Wait. So, okay, again, I have, I have an Instagram account, but I don't post anything. And, I just use it to follow, honestly, breweries and you, to be truthful. But yet, like, I'll look at you just hit the little search button, and it is all like college age girls, and or girls who work in kind of pseudo strip clubs, like not like a Hooters, that's not really a strip club, but you're wearing a lot less clothes than everyone else. And and it's all these girls doing those dances, whatever I don't even know. Is it? Does it have a name, Joel? These dances, the dances I'm talking about, where they just move their fucking arms in like a boxing.
Yeah,
motion.
I know the ones you mean, but I figured out how to get rid of that from Instagram. At least you press whatever's come up in those suggestions, then you hit the 3 dots in the top right hand corner, and you press not interested.
Really?
And even if you are interested, even if you secretly like looking at it, you just press not interested to get rid of it. So I eventually managed to cleanse my Instagram. The search page from that, and now if I go on it, the first pictures of Chris Benoit. So I don't know, maybe I still need to do a bit of spring cleaning with that.
Need more cleansing.
We got Chris Benoit, we got Diego Maradona doing a warm up, a pizza, a steak, and Lij. So I'll consider that a win. I'll quit while I'm ahead.
All right. Well, I got
fucking about with it now.
I just did it right now. I got a hot girl in a some type of vehicle, I believe in a Fred Flintstone outfit, it looks like. And they always do the same thing. They flip their hair, and then they look away coyly, and then they bite their lip. Every one of them. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm just saying this is what it is. But I would
Yeah, I don't want the app to know that I like it.
Oh, this app knows I like
the problem.
it. Because I see it, and I'm like, oh, wait, let me check it. And then I have, like, hot golfing girls. And then I have, like, hot girls that work in restaurants, apparently. Like, apparently they know I like food, beer, and boobs because that's exactly what all these pictures are. And apparently I trend toward the Southern American taste because I see a lot of girls in like cowboy boots and shit. But everybody's doing those dances. And everybody's got like they're showing off their bodies, all right. Lordy Lou. Listen, I'm not.
How did we get onto this?
I don't know, but
this conversation's taken a turn. I was expecting to talk about the funny little Ricky Choshu things, and now we are exposing our perversions for the whole.
It's not perversion. I didn't say, but it wasn't like I typed in "hot girls wearing cowboy boots." It's not like I haven't done that before.
You didn't need to. You didn't even need to. That was
right.
Yeah, that's the sad thing, isn't it?
Right. It really is. It really is. It must be pulling from my Brazzers account. We joke about that shower scene. I can't believe we're saying that now. We joke about it, but it's that type of thing that may have rubbed some people wrong from what we understand. So I think that's...
I'll tell you, Damon, when I saw that shower scene, I was rubbing myself right.
I love it. I'm sorry. There might have been a problem with Skype. We are across the continent, across the world, communicating. You said a bottle of lube in his hotel room?
Yeah.
Like Astroglide lube?
It was Tenga lube. That's hence his new nickname being Tengaloa. I'm trying to find it exactly. Yeah, so this is on his Instagram stories. I just got to my room for 2-week quarantine, and I was left a gift. It's a photo of a bottle of Japanese lube.
The hotel left the lube.
Japanese. No, I don't think it was the hotel that left it. I don't know. Maybe it was Kenta or one of his buddies or something.
Gotcha. Okay. So he's a quarantine.
That would be amazing if the hotel did leave
I was about to say. I mean, that's how convenient. So the joke being he's going to be jacking it a lot in 2 weeks because he can't see anybody. That's the joke?
Yep.
Gotcha. All right.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I'm a dry hand kind of guy. I don't like a lot of... No, I don't want a lot of... I don't need... No. Why am I saying this?
What kind of reprobate masturbates in a hotel? Honestly?
Oh, God. Jeez. I can't fall asleep if I don't.
Couldn't be me, Damon.
What? You kidding me? All right. All right. Come on. Enough of this jack-off talk.